Hi, everybody. I came on a minute or so early to see if Facebook lets me do this. The last couple times I've done this, I have to try twice to get it started. So hopefully everybody will soon be able to see and hear me. So I will type something to see if everything will start coming through. Oh my gosh. I always have to type something. Yay! People are giving me thumbs up. Hello, everybody. Oh my gosh, there's all kinds of people here. Hi, everybody. Pat. Oh, Lynn, Diane, Garnet, Jackie. Who else is here? Kathy and Orlin, I betcha. Evie. Mitzi. Hi, Mitzi. Mitzi's new. She just got a brand new sewing machine. Let's see. Marianne. Oh, hi, Marianne. And Jerry. I can't see the rest of them. Just a second. Hello. Is everybody hearing me okay? Cool. How is everybody today? Did everybody have a nice day? I was actually home today. It's unusual that I'm home on a Sunday because I usually spend the Sunday with my dad, but I have to have my car serviced tomorrow. So I'm going to Anamosa tomorrow. Oh, hi, Deb. Deb, there's two Debs. Marilyn. Hi, everybody. Cool. So I spent the day working on the Kimberbell Club because Kimberbell Club, for those of you who are in it, is November. Let's see, mine is, what is it, the 8th and 9th or 9th and 10th? It's the Friday or Saturday. I can't remember which day. I don't have my phone with me. But anyway, I was getting ready for that because it takes a while. Hi, Jan. I was going to sew along with you tonight. I forgot everything and realized I didn't have any black glitter. Oh, I'm sorry. You'll just have to watch. I'm sorry. Diane said she was going to sew, but she couldn't sew because she has no black glitter vinyl. So I didn't have very much. I had just enough to do the couple samples I had to do. So, oh, hi, Sharon. Hi, Jackie. Hi, Mary. Oh, Cindy Huff. Hi, Cindy. Thanks for the fabric, Cindy. By the way, it's going to be in the Kimberbell Club class. One of the pieces. It worked great for the little owls. The green piece. So anyway, I've been working on Kimberbell Club today. And I sewed out a couple of the samples. So this is the first one. This is one of those little, they call it embroidery by number. It's like paper piecing. So isn't that cute? And the 6x6 size, we'll do the 6x6 size. It fits so nicely in these little frames. Once you have, oh, hi, Clara. Oh, 8th and 9th. Thank you, Diane. I couldn't remember if it was 8th and 9th or 9th and 10th. The Friday is the 8th and the Saturday is the 9th. So anyway, this is one of the projects we'll do. This is the little leaf. And so I did that first. And then there's also this little oven mitt. It's like like the type that you put on your fingers. It's really cute, but I didn't have any Insulbright. So I have to go get Insulbright tomorrow. But so I went on and did the bag. So there's a bag. Everybody will get one of these buffalo check bags. Aren't those cool? With joy. So I thought that was cute. And there's a little glitter on these too. Yeah, I can't touch him. There he is. Glitter on Rudolph's nose there. So this was a fun one. And then there's actually 4 projects that everybody will get this time, but I didn't have, so we're only going to make 3 in the class. But the 4th one is actually, there's a bench pillow or a bench buddy pillow, and I just got the front sewed out, so it says Hello Winter, and you put glitter on the snowflake. So I thought that was really cute. So I'll make the pillow up. I haven't got that done yet. I just finished sewing it out. So we'll do the, you'll get this one, but we won't make it in the class. So anyway, that's what I've been working on today. It takes me a long time to cut the kits. So I've been, I have to start really early because the cutting takes me a while. So I thought this week, if at the store, then maybe I could do some cutting. So I was hoping to anyway. And then I wanted to show you what we're going to do in 2 weeks. Remember, we're not going to have class next week because my dad has to have a colonoscopy, the poor guy. So I have to be with him on Sunday and Monday. So we're going to do some quilting in the embroidery machine. And whoops, looks like I got some thread on there. We're going to do some quilting with Design Center and IQ Designer. And this will be on the 20th. And this is a little table runner. And this is also how I did my Jingle All the Way quilt. So I thought, well, table runner for the class would be nice and easy because it only has 3 hoopings. So like this part with the little watermelon is done with making a stamp out of the embroidery pattern. And then it only stipples around the watermelon. And then the center part, I did the whole thing with one of the decorative fills in the machine. And then, you know, here's the other side. So this one was done with the watermelon. But I thought it turned out really cute. And isn't that little, I've never done this before. This is called ruching, that you take a strip of fabric and you basically make it into bias tape. And then you do a really long basting stitch, like in a zigzag pattern. And then it makes it like this. And then I hot glued it. I am not going to sew this on. So are the bags in Davenport for my classes yet? No, Lynn, I'm going to order them on Tuesday. And I will also order the hoop CDs for your people for Saturday, because I didn't know soon enough to get them ordered and I didn't have enough to order. So I'm going to order the bags and the CDs that we need. And then there's a bunch of really cool CDs, you know, that also have some of the stuff on it. So, but anyway, this is the little table runner that we'll do in a couple of weeks. And I've got another one all stitched up. And aren't those little tumblers cute? This one's out of the, this is a Kimberbell table runner. This is out of Hello Sunshine. And the other one that I had on to start with was out of Jingle All the Way. So they put a little table runner usually in each book with the quilts. But then I also wanted to do a couple of the other little projects for Hello Sunshine. So here's some of the little bench buddies. Aren't these cute? Sprinkle kindness like confetti. There's the back. So I made that one. And then this one says, enjoy the little things. And it's got little birdies on the back. So that's the couple of the little pillows. And then here's the Hello Sunshine pillow. So I wanted to make up a few things out of the Hello Sunshine so I could put them with the quilt when I get the quilt quilted. So I got a few little pieces to go with those. So I had to do some show and tell. I've been sewing a lot this week trying to get ready for all these classes. Okay, I'm going to put these over here. But tonight we're going to do the Double Toil and Trouble Halloween Settee Pillow. So this is, for some of you that are new, I have a few new people on tonight. This is one of my designs. And so if you want to purchase this design, just personal message me through Facebook and I will send you a PayPal invoice. It's $10. So if you want to make this pillow, there's 3 panels. They're all done in a 8x12 hoop. And we're going to do one panel tonight. And then I'll kind of walk you through the other 2 panels. The outside panels are done the same way, but they're mirrored. And then the middle is just a little different, but it's done the same way with the appliques. So I used black glitter vinyl on these for the appliques. And then I just love these little googly eyes. I've always liked these. So these are those little googly eyes you can buy like at Walmart and Hobby Lobby. And I just hot glued them on for my spiders. And then my little bat has little googly eyes too. So I'll show you how to do that. I'm not going to do the whole pillow tonight because, you know, we've done this a couple of times. So we're going to do one panel tonight. I'll show you how to sew the whole thing together and then how to put the back on. And then I will refer you to either the St. Patrick's Day pillow or the patriotic pillow for the full for the full like assembly instructions, because I did, you know, full assemblies on both of those. So then if you need to have help to really watch every step, then you can get through the whole thing to put it together. So well, I didn't figure we needed to do that again tonight, but I will get it kind of put together for you so you can see. So this is the back and the front. Okay, so let's go ahead. Clara, yes, I have for these pillows, I have a Valentine pillow, a St. Patrick's Day pillow, a Easter pillow, a patriotic pillow, and then the Halloween pillow. And then I'm going to do more. I'm going to do a Christmas pillow. And then I thought next year I would do the seasons. So I'll do a winter, spring, summer, and fall. Make them more generic. So I'm going to do some more next year too. Okay? All right. So this is what we're going to do tonight. I'll set this over here and get it out of our way for right now. And I'm going to show you how to do the embroidery first. We're going to do the left-hand panel. I've got the other two already done, so I can show you how to put it together. All right, so we're going to go to our machine here. And on my machine, I have to hit the little pocket to get to the embroidery, to get to the sticks. So here's my USB stick. And we're going to do the left-hand panel, which is this one. Okay. Now, when I digitize this, I actually digitize these with the brother threads instead of the Floriani's this time. I like the brother thread. I actually use it quite a bit. You got to watch the spools just a little bit to make sure. Christmas and the seasons sound good to me. Okay. Yeah, we're going to do Christmas. The Halloween or the Easter one's really cute too, Clara. So, okay. So we bring our design up. We're going to set it. And then I'm going to click embroidery. So these are all going to come up with color names for the, these are all in the brother colors. Just that's what happened to digitize in this time. So, all right. So the first thing we needed to do is to put, I used no-show mesh stabilizer in the hoop. So I hooped my no-show mesh stabilizer, and I'm using my 8x12 snap hoop right now. You know, I'm actually really liking these hoops because you can really cut down on the size of your stabilizer a little bit, because you don't have to, it doesn't have to stick out too far. Now this particular piece happened to be a 15-inch roll, so it does stick out a little bit. But I really like this because I can conserve on my stabilizer quite a bit with these snap hoops. And they're easy to hoop in because you don't have to push down on them. So these are the dime snap hoops, and they have them in all different sizes. And the one I don't have yet is a 6x10. And you know, I may just have to have a 6x10, so I don't have that one. All right, so I've got this all hooped up, and I put it in the machine. A second, I scooted off my chair here. All right, the first step, I gotta find my instructions where I put them. They ended up back on the table. So it says to hoop the no-show mesh stabilizer in the hoop, which we've already done. And then the first step of the instructions says it's the batting placement line. So I have white thread in the machine. I have embroidery bobbin thread in the bobbin. So I'm going to go ahead, whoops, and we're going to, I think I'm threaded, yep. And we're just going to sew out this placement line. I don't know what I did to my machine. It looks like I colored it with a pencil or something. Got a great big mark on the side of it. I was making a lot of notes today, so I probably got my pencil on it. So we'll do the placement line. Now when I do the instructions for these, I try to make sure that the number of the instruction matches the number of the step you're on your machine, because I think it's confusing if the instruction number and the machine number are different. I get very confused. So that's why I'd make a lot of notes on the Kimberbell designs, because they don't keep the numbers the same. Okay, so there is our placement line. Then we need to place some batting. So you're going to have a piece of batting cut to about 9x13, I think is what it was, or 9x12, one or the other. And I'm just going to lay it in the hoop. Now, On this machine, when I use batting, I'm going to show you how to do this. In the settings, and most of the machines have a settings button. For some reason, my machine, when I put batting in the hoop, it likes to have the foot just a little bit higher. So I'm going to raise the foot up from 0.06 to 0.08 because it likes to grab my batting and pull it. And I've even gone up one more. You don't want to go up too high with your foot, otherwise it will cause you to have shredding threads. Okay, so this is Hobbs 80-20 batting. I use this on my long arm, so I always have lots of scraps. And this is my favorite batting. It gives it a little bit of poof, but it's not too thick, and it's not as stiff like Warm and Natural is terribly stiff. So I've been using this batting for quite a while. Since I got a long arm, I really like it for that, and I always have lots of scraps. All right, so we're doing the tack down line for this batting. You will probably need to hold it a little bit because, like I said, mine likes to scooch on me a little bit with my foot. So if I hold it a little bit, now see, it's cooperating with me tonight. It doesn't always do that when I'm on camera, guys. It doesn't like to cooperate with me, but it's doing well tonight. But raising that foot up just a little bit sometimes helps. You don't want to raise it too much. You can get shredding thread, and you won't get a good stitch quality. But with this machine, and I've also noticed it too, since I've been using these snap hoops, I think I don't know if you can see when I push down that there's a little give here, and I think that everything is a little higher because of the way the machine or the way the hoop clamps. So I wonder if maybe that's why I need to raise the foot a little bit sometimes when I have batting underneath here. So, okay. Then after that, it says to trim the batting close to the stitches. So I want to trim the batting close to these stitches here. For some of you new people, these are 6-inch double curved embroidery scissors, and these work so well for trimming because you can get very close and they have very sharp tips on them. So these have always been my favorite scissors. These are made by Ginger. The other ones that I really like that are a little harder to get are Femore scissors. I can easily get the Gingers for the store, so I always have these, but the Femore scissors are a little harder to get now. I used to always get them at the quilt shows, and they haven't been, we haven't had any really big, good quilt shows nearby, and they don't always come anymore. So you can get them online, though. They have a website. It's Famore. And they do have a website. So I'm going to pull this out a little bit so I can get to the top of this to do the trimming. Oops. But you do want to be pretty close to the stitches. That way you don't have all that bulk in your seam allowances when we go to sew this together. All right, so we're going to push this back in. When you push these snap hoops in and out, you want to be careful not to pull. I don't know if you can see. I'm going to pull this camera back. Don't pull like on here like we do on the other hoops, because these can scoot a little bit. So what I have a tendency to do is I put my finger on the little connector here and push in there and pull out this way so that I don't disturb my fabrics in my hoop, okay? So I've noticed that the first couple times I kind of pulled on here and then my hoop would kind of pull. So they're good strong magnets, but they can move a little bit. So this works real well to go in and out this way and use the connector, okay? All right, so we're ready for, just let me hit OK here. We're ready for step number 3. Step number 3 is the fabric placement line. So we need to sew this out, and then we're going to place some fabric over that. I'm using white thread, so you probably can't see it very well, but I can. I like to use kind of matchy threads in my fabric because if I use something darker, you can kind of see it sometimes in the seams. So I usually use it fairly matching. And this particular thread is the one I'm going to use for some quilting here in a little bit. Okay, make sure I'm doing the right one. Yep, I needed the left one. Phew, I almost thought I was doing the wrong one. I need the left one. All right, so this is the placement line. You can kind of see it by the dent for this piece of fabric. This is the center piece, the white piece. And I want to make sure that I'm over the placement line on each side, and then I want a little extra on the center here because I have to make a seam allowance with that. And I gave you the measurements that I gave you in the instructions are pretty close to exact, so you probably will not have to do any trimming. I tell you to trim down to about 1/4 of an inch, but my measurements are fairly close, so I usually don't have to trim at all when I do these. But I do like to have about 1/2 inch out here on the edge so I can use it for my seam allowance when I go to sew this together. So this is step number 4, or the tack down stitch. So we're going to tack down this fabric. And after it sews, it says to trim the fabric 1/4 inch from the stitching on the inside of the block. So in other words, in here, you want to have these be about 1/4 of an inch all the way around on this inside section, and then about 1/2 inch out here. But the measurements are so close, I just don't even trim. Most of the time I don't have to, unless you kind of got like cockeyed with it or something. Okay, so there is the tack down stitch, and I don't think I need to trim. It's about 1/4 of an inch all the way around and 1/2 inch out here. All right, so then the next step, number 5 in here, says it's the body quilting. So I'm going to leave my white thread in for this, and we're going to quilt the body. Got to find my other pieces here just a second. I have a hard time knowing where to put everything when I do this because my table isn't that big. So I think I'll put together that little winter pillow tonight after we're done. And I have to go to Anamosa tomorrow to see my dad and get my car serviced. So I have to get some more fabric for the Kimberbell Club. So I'll go to Walmart and get some more fabric. I didn't have quite enough. I needed like that little that little leaf design that I showed you. It needs quite a bit of fabric for the backing because there's like pretty good sized pieces on the back of it. So I have to go get some more, couple more yards of fabric to cut the kits. And then I have to think about that on Tuesday, and then the rest of the week I have to start thinking about the dime event because we have all the dime stuff coming. It'll all be showing up soon. So that's the next thing to be thinking about is dime. I'm actually really excited about that. I'd like to sew out the projects before the event, so I'm hoping I can. What button did you use to do this overall? Oh, I didn't use, this is built into the design, Mary. I didn't use any button. This is all, this is digitized in my embroidery software for the quilting. So it's part of the design. Next, on the 20th, when we do the quilting on the little table runner, I'll show you how to do it in the machine. That's when I'll show you how to do the quilting on the stuff inside the machine in Design Center or IQ Designer. But this was digitized in the software. So we're making progress. We're getting it quilted here. Now when I do this, I try to make sure that the quilting goes a little bit over the edge so that when I put the other pieces on, it will hide the like the edges of the stitching. And so it was hard for me to figure out how to do that, so I had to rearrange how I did the borders. So I kind of learned a few things. I've learned a lot of stuff actually by making these pillows. So doing the digitizing anyway. Hopefully I have enough thread. My white thread was getting very low, and I thought I can certainly get through one more pillow with it. I sewed out the other two pieces. What day is this? This is Sunday. It must have been Friday night. All right, it's getting about done. And the other thing I have to do when I do these is if I use glitter vinyl, and you can just use fabric for the appliques. You don't have to use the glitter vinyl. I just like glitter vinyl. It's kind of pretty and shiny. But you have to take the stitching. Did you see that there's no stitching right here? That's where the little spider is going to go. And I have to take the stitching out from underneath when I'm digitizing these, because if you iron your little glitter vinyl down to the stitching, it'll actually show the stitching underneath of it. So I learned that. That was another one of those things I learned doing this. Okay. Now the next step says, this is step number 6. The next step says spider webs, spider legs, and the spider placement line. So I have to do, before we put the sides and the bottom and top on, I wanted to make sure that the spider web would go underneath and not be like over the top of the border. So I did the decorative stitching in the center first. So if you give me a second, I'm going to change to black thread. And whoops, gotta find the end. Change to black thread, and we're going to sew out the little spider webs and the little legs on the spider. And I know I've had a bunch of people coming in since we've started. If some of you have not got this design and want it, I'll just remind you, you can just text me or personal message me through Messenger, and I can send you a PayPal invoice. It's $10 for the design. So this is the little spider web. There was 2 spider webs. There's one down here in this corner too. Yeah, I'm looking forward to doing the little table runner next week, or in 2 weeks, because the quilting in the hoop, like quilting with the embroidery machine in the design center, is really fun, and it's a way that, you know, we have these beautiful embroidery machines that do so much, and then we can quilt our own quilts and do all this this custom quilting. And I did my Jingle All the Way quilt this way, and then the Luminaires and the Solarises have a new border function that you can actually quilt from the top right hand corner of your border all the way around the quilt. All you do is put in like all the measurements for your borders, and it will just do the whole thing for you. It is totally amazing. I did the border on that. It was so easy, and I was done in like an hour. And that quilt's pretty good size. Jingle was maybe 60 by 70 or 65 by 75, something like that. And I'm going to quilt my my Hello Sunshine the same way. But I thought for the class, if I did a table runner, then you'd be able, you'd be able to see me do the whole thing, you know, and have the entire thing quilted instead of doing a quilt. But I will have my Jingle All the Way. I'll bring it out so you can see Jingle All the Way. All right, so we got the big spider web done. And then it's going to go down. There's a little one down here in the corner. But I'll have Jingle All the Way out here so you can see the whole quilt. I'll hold it up, or I'll hang it up someplace out here so you can really see it. And I custom quilted that block by block the same way we were going to do the table runner. And I'm not going to lie, it took a while, but these snap hoops work very well for the quilting because you can stuff the quilt through the machine, and you can just leave the quilt in the machine instead of having to take it in and out and in and out like with a standard hoop, because then what I do is I just kind of lift the hoop up, and I just kind of lay it up over the top of the machine, and I just scoot the quilt around where I want it, and I just drop the hoop back down again, and I never take it out of the machine. It's so much easier. So now it's doing the little spider legs. Oh, we got a lot of people. Oh my gosh, we got 30 people here tonight. Hi everybody, thanks for joining me. I enjoy sewing with you. Is anybody sewing along with me? Send out little thumbs ups if you're sewing along with me tonight, because I know a few of you bought the design. So, or maybe you're sewing something else. Tell me what else you're sewing if you're not sewing this. Any way to get the Jingle All the Way pattern instead of the watermelon? Yes, Jackie, you can get the Jingle All the Way pattern in the Jingle All the Way. It's Kimber Bell's Jingle All the Way, the quilt book. It's in there. I can't give you the pattern. You need to purchase the pattern. So I'm not going to give you a pattern for that, but I'm going to show you how I do the quilting. But I do have the books at the store, and if you don't, oh hi Jane, and if I don't have one at the Davenport store, let me know and I'll order some books. But Jingle All the Way is a whole book, and it's the quilt, that little table runner, a couple really cute pillows. There's a bench pillow and a small pillow, and this little table runner, and there's actually 2 table runners. I do one small and one large, and then I think there's a wall hanging, and I didn't make the wall hanging, but I've been trying to make, like, you know, the other stuff in the books too, because the other projects are really cute. And then Hello Sunshine had the table runner that we're going to do. It has some pillow. It had those little bench pillows I showed you, and it also had. Let's see. It also had a wall hanging and a bench pillow. So I'm going to do the bench pillow also, but I'm going to make it into a table runner or a wall hanging, because the bench pillows are so big that I don't have any place to put those big bench pillows. So I'm just going to hang it up on the wall. So I don't know, Jackie, if there's one in Davenport, but if you need the Jingle All the Way book, let me know and I will order it for you. I have to order on Tuesday, so I could order it if there's not one there. Oh, we're getting almost all the legs done here. But yeah, these Kimberbell quilts are super fun. They do take a little while because there's a lot of blocks, but they're not hard. Most of the Kimberbell designs are quite easy. And I'm working on Broomhilda's Bakery right now. Now Lynn, I noticed Lynn got hers all put together. Mine is about 2/3 sewn out, but I have to then put it together. And that's the Halloween one, so it's really cute. You don't think there's one in Davenport, Lynn? So Jackie, you can text me, message me, if you want me to order it for you for on Tuesday, because I have to order the stuff for the classes, and I need to order some other CDs too. So I could order you a book if you want it. I think it's $79.99 for the Jingle, for most of the quilt books, because it's all the books, and then you get an actual book with the CD, and then all the projects are in there. So, all right, we got one more leg because our spider has 8 legs. So is anybody sewing along with me? Nobody thumbed up me. Nobody gave me a thumbs up if they were sewing along with me. I thought a couple of you were going to. Whoops, looks like we got some more people coming in. What classes are you talking about? Oh, people are giving me thumbs ups now. I'm not sure which ones you're talking about, Mitzi. Let's see. And let's see, what else? Lynn, yes, I'm sewing. Okay, Lynn's sewing. Okay, so I got a little thread here I need to clip. All right, now we're on number 7. Now number 7 is going to be, so what it did in the what it did in the design in number 6, it actually combined the sewing here with the placement line for the little spider applique. So this is the actual placement line here. And then number 7 is the tack down line. So I'm going to use glitter vinyl. So using glitter vinyl, oh, for Christmas, I'm talking about a book. It's called Jingle All the Way. And Mitzi, you bought a book. Is that the book you got, the Christmas one? Or did you get the Halloween one? You might have gotten the Halloween one instead. But it's the same company that made that book, because I know you got one when you got your machine the other day. All right. So this is glitter vinyl. Glitter vinyl, this is like heat transfer vinyl you would use to put on a shirt or whatever, okay? And they have a clear plastic like transfer sheet, and we don't want that on there when we use it here. So I'm going to pull this off of here and expose the glitter. So this is the glitter vinyl, like this. Okay, so here's the glitter side. We want the glitter side up, of course, and we're going to lay it over our placement line. I'm going to leave that black thread in there. And then number 7 is the tack down line. So we're going to use the black thread for that. And when Jan has to trim these, I have to put my glasses on because I can't see that black on the black. It matches so well. So we'll put my glasses on so I can do the trimming. I've been doing a lot of black stuff, so I've been wearing my glasses a lot. Okay, so I'm going to pull this out so I can see. And we'll get this trimmed. I'm going to trim it close to the stitches. I have to take it all the way out. Sometimes these round ones, yeah, it's harder to get. Oops, looks like I got a little tail sticking up here. There we go. All right. Okay. Got a couple little funky spots that I need to trim a little bit better. There we go. All right. Now, the difference between using regular fabric here, now if you're using regular fabric for your, looks like we got some more comments. Oh, you got the Halloween. Okay. Yeah, so they do also have a Christmas one too, Mitzi. So when you use regular fabric here, you do not need to iron it down. After it tacks down, it's okay. But with this being glitter vinyl, it's actually meant to be ironed onto the fabric. So we need to take this over here, and I'll move my camera a little bit. We're going to take this out of the machine for a minute. I'm going to set it over here on the side of my machine. So hopefully you can kind of see me like this. I've got this on one of those wool ironing mats. So I'm going to take my glasses off so I don't make myself dizzy. And I'm going to lay my pressing, you always want a pressing cloth. You don't want to touch this glitter vinyl with an iron directly. So you want to put a pressing cloth over it. And I'm just going to lay my little iron down on there for a few seconds, and so that it adheres it to the fabric. Otherwise, if you don't do that, it will pucker. Especially if it's a pretty good sized piece. And this is fairly small, so it's actually okay. I forgot to iron a couple of them and they were fine, but it is better if you iron it down, especially if it's a larger piece. Earlier when I showed you that little, put this back in the machine now. Earlier when I showed you that little pillow with the snowflake on it, that was a very big piece of glitter vinyl. It was like 6 by 6. So, okay, so there's my little spider. We're ready for step number 8, and that is going to be the satin stitches around the little spider. So we'll get that. Oops, second here. It looks like I'm going to lose my thread. Okay, so now it's going to do the satin stitches around the little spider. Gosh, we got all kinds of people. Got more people joining us. Hi, everybody. Thanks for coming and visiting me tonight. Yeah, I've been sewing all day. I have a lot of fun doing the Kimberbell club classes, but they do take a little while because there's a lot of cutting and there's a lot of, I got to figure out the fabric. So it does take me a while to do it. I needed a day to just spend doing that. Made me feel good that I've got most of it figured out, so I could take the fabric with me to the store and do some cutting there, hopefully this week. So at least I've got the fabrics figured out. That's usually the hard part for me. And I like to try to take as much out of my stash as possible so that I don't have to buy a bunch, but I do have to buy some fabric this time. All right, so we're about around our spider. Okay. So the whole center part now is the embroidery is done for the center part. We will stick the little eyeballs on the little guy after a while. So, okay. So now we need to finish the piecing. So now we're going to piece the borders on here. Oops, I got to find my pieces. So we have the next piece. I'm going to leave the black thread in because my borders are black. So I'll leave them on. And when we piece borders, just like you would like a regular quilt top, we want to put the right sides together. So I'm going to line up my raw edges here and put my right sides together. Okay. And this is like flip and fold. I call it flip and fold. So we're going to sew the seam across. This is step number 9. We're just going to sew this seam across. And you can see that I left my kind of my 1/2 inch over here, and I left about 1/4 inch over here. So I need a seam allowance on the side. All right. So once we sew the seam, then we're going to flip this back. So this is like flip and fold. We're going to flip it back, and I'm going to finger press it nicely. You can also use a little iron if you want to, but normally the finger pressing works for me. And I'm going to hold this down, and then the next step, number 10, is going to be the tacking stitch that's going to hold this down. Now the other 2 sections of the pillow top are done the same way. They're in a slightly different order. The middle will be in a slightly different order because of the spider webs aren't in there, so I put the borders on a little sooner. So you'll notice that things are in a little bit different order. Okay, so now it's going to go down here, and we need to put the bottom piece on, the bottom short piece. There's a short piece. And this is step number 11. So we're going to, again, put the raw edges together, just like you were piecing, and the right sides together. And we're going to put it down here at the bottom. We're getting very close. I found this fabric was really cute. I found all this fabric at the Walmart in Anamosa. They have a really nice selection of fabric. And the middle, I don't know if you can see it very well, but the center is kind of an off-white with a little speckle in it. So, okay, so I'm going to flip this back over now. Right side up. I'm going to finger press my seam. And then I'm going to hold it down, and I'm going to do the tack down. And this is step number 12. There's the tack down stitch. Just watch your fingers when you're holding the fabric. I've done this lots of times, so I'm pretty careful with my fingers. Okay, so then we got that border's tacked down, and then we have one more border to do over here on the left-hand side. Again, I'm going to do, this is step number 13. I'm going to put my right sides together, and I'm going to raw edges together, right sides together. And then I'm going to sew number 13. And this is going to be our tack down stitch. And this one you'll want to kind of hold a little bit because it kind of wants to scoot a little bit. It's long. All right. And then we're going to flip this over. We're going to flip this over. Whoops, sir. And give it a little finger press. Yeah, I thought this candy corn fabric was really cute. And I think I even got the polka dots for the back. Yeah, it was black, orange with black polka dots. I think I got that at Walmart too. They had a bunch of Halloween pre-cuts. And then I noticed today they had a bunch of new Christmas ones. So I'll have to go to Anamosa. Anamosa always has like twice as much as anybody down here has. All right, so we're going to tack this down. This is number 14. So we're going to do the tack down stitch. And I always hold these a little bit because sometimes they'll want to scoot just a little. All right. So we got all of our borders on, and the final step is to do the quilting around these borders. And I made little pumpkins. So I'm going to change my thread to orange and do orange pumpkins. Okay. So while these are sewing, we'll talk a little bit about the assembly, because I thought I'd just kind of talk you through it. And like I said, if you want to go back and watch either the St. Patrick's Day pillow, it's all on the group. I don't take the videos down. There's a St. Patrick's Day pillow, and also the Home of the Brave pillow gave you a lot more detail on the construction of the top. So if you're new at these and you haven't done one before, that'll be very helpful for you. Okay, so we're going to do the quilting, and so we're making the little pumpkins. So need a second here, I need to grab my pieces. We'll talk a little bit about this while this is sewing. So the back of the pillow it's in two pieces. I'll kind of set it over here. Okay, and what I've done is I'm going to make an envelope back for the pillow, and I have hemmed one short end of each side, so that it's not raw on the edge. Be careful if you happen to have directional fabric. Remember the pillows I showed you a minute ago? One of these was directional, so you have to make sure that you hem them so that they're both going the right direction. So like here's my little birds. So I had to make sure that my birds were not upside down. Okay? So just make sure if you have directional fabric that you kind of lay it out and know which direction they're going to be going. Okay? When you hem your ends. Now my little polka dots here were not directional, so I didn't have to worry about it. So I've already pre-sewn those. I just turned over 1/4 of an inch, and then a 1/4 of an inch again, and just stitched down. And then I have sewn together my pieces. So here's the other two pieces of my pillow. This is the right piece in the center. Okay? And I have used a 1/2 inch seam between the two. And we're going to trim this, so I'll show you the trimming. I'm going to trim it for you once it's done sewing here. And then I will sew that other piece on so you can see the whole top tonight. And then I will also just walk you through the backing to make sure that you still have the back goes on. Oh, we're getting close here. So these were cute little pumpkins. I think they were actually there's two things that I've always wanted to use in this software. This is the Dime PEP software that I digitize these in. And one of the things I've always wanted to use was that black cat. This is in the software. It's like in the, I can't remember where it is in the software, but it was one of the ones that's like part of the software program. I've always loved that black cat, and I wanted to use it for something, and I finally found something to use it for. So I can't take credit for the little black cat. He's in the software. And the other thing is this funny little shaped pumpkin. I always liked these. It's part of the applique part of the program, and I found it in there. So, but anyway, my little black cat, I can't take credit for it. It was in the software. So I finally got to use it. I had a black cat. So I like black cats. Okay, we've got a couple more pumpkins to go, and then I'll show you how to. I'll trim this up so you can see. You're going to trim. I do it two different ways. Now I pre-trimmed mine to 1/4 of an inch. Normally what I do is I trim a 1/2 an inch all the way around along that basting line all the way around each panel. And then I sew it together in the center, and then I trim the outside edge down to 1/4 inch, so when I go to put the binding on. I did pre-trim this. Sometimes it's a little harder for me to get my 1/4 inch right if I don't do it all at the same time. But for speed, I will do that this evening. Okay, so we're getting just about done with our last pumpkin here. And then I'm going to stand behind you for just a minute to do the trimming. So before I sew it together, it was too hard for me to get everything over here on my table tonight. So you're going to have to give me a second to do the trimming. Back on my cutting table, it's right behind me. Okay, so there's our last pumpkin. That was step number 15. And the side is finished. All right, the machine's going to sing to me. And I'm going to pull this out. So what do you think? So there's our side all quilted with the little spider dude. So we're going to take this out, and I'm going to go back quickly and trim this. If you give me just a second. Oops. I don't like to put my hoops together because, man, are they ever tight. It's hard to get them apart. All right, so I'm going to stand back here and do the trimming real quick. It's easier to see back here, too. I got a good light back here. I have noticed as I've gotten older that light is very important for me. I have lots of those, what do they call them? Color spectrum lights. They're like hot lights. They're all over my sewing room. So they're one over my sewing machine. In fact, I need a second one over the sewing machine. And I have one over my cutting table, and I have one over my PR. Okay, so here is the finished side. What do you think? So I did trim it to 1/4 inch on the outside just for speed, but normally I wait and do it when I have the whole thing put together, because then that way I know I get my 1/4 inch very accurate. Sometimes I get a little off this way, but it's normally not too bad. Okay, so we're going to sew this on just to show you a quick assembly. I'm going to go ahead and change the foot on my machine. So for those of you who are kind of new, if you haven't done this, you unscrew the screw behind the needle threader here. Take your foot off. This is the quilting foot, or I'm sorry, the embroidery foot, and then I'm going to put my sewing foot on. So my foot's on the shank. See these come off? So mine was all in one piece. I've been sewing today's too. Put this on. And then I'm going to change my thread real quick to just regular sewing thread. Whoops. Got to get the orange thread on my way. Sometimes when I have this camera in front of me, it's hard to reach. Boy, I had just enough bobbin thread. Look at there. My bobbin is just shy of being empty. All right. Put this up here. My cats can hear me talking, and they're meowing outside the sewing room door. They get pretty upset with me. Okay. So then I'm going to go ahead and change to the sewing side of the machine. So I'm just going to hit the little house button up here and hit OK. And then it's going to be, I'm going to hit the sewing button. And OK. Gotta put my, sure I didn't touch my iron with anything. Gotta put my sewing bobbin in here. I just wound some of the matching white thread. And, oops, second here. I always start with the thread under the foot, because if you don't, you'll certainly unthread your machine. So when I do these, this is my 1/2 inch seam here. This is the new piece that I just made. So I'm going to turn this right sides together. I'm going to open the drawer, and I'm going to, right here, I want to make sure that these black pieces where those borders are match up really nice. So I'm going to turn it back and really make sure I got those matched up. And I like to pin them so that they don't scoot on me. So I'm going to put a pin in here right along that border. And I'm going to do the same thing down here to make sure they don't scoot. And you'll do this for the second one as well. I've already got that one sewn on, so okay, make sure I get that nice and lined up. And yes, I have had to unpin and rip them because, you know, I didn't quite get it lined up. I'm very good at seam ripping. I make lots of mistakes. Okay. Sure there's no comments. You guys doing okay over there? All right, so then I say to take a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Let me get a little closer. I don't know if you can see this very well, but can you see where the basting stitches are that's sewed right here? I am going to sew just like 1 stitch inside of that. I'm not going to worry about the 1/2 inch. I just don't want this line to show on the outside. And it is going to be right at the 1/2 inch, but I'm not going to actually pay attention to that. My needle is in the center. Got to make sure that this one's lined up. This one might be not lined up, so let me repin here. All right. So I'm going to start at the top, and I'm going to make sure that I'm sewing on the inside of that line. That's the line that's sewed around the edge of the, whoops, I just hit the wrong button. That is the line that's sewed along the outside edge as a tacking line. So I don't want that to show. Okay. And then I'm going to stitch down just 1 stitch inside of that whole line, because I just don't want that to show on the outside edge. Second here, make sure these are lined up. So that's how I'd stitch my 1/2 inch. I don't really pay attention to the 1/2 inch line. The 1/2 inch seam, I think, is one of the hardest seams to find. Coming in very late. Will you have to watch the review? Oh, okay. Hi, Maria. All right. Whoops, second here, it didn't cut. Let's trim it with the scissors. Okay. Take the pins out. Now you notice that I did go over the pins. I have these teeny tiny little thin little pins, and I do sew over my pins slowly, but I only use these extra fine little pins. I don't buy those big heavy ones, and I throw a ton of pins away because they bend a lot. So Tim would probably shoot me for telling you to sew over your pins, but I'm very, very careful with them. Okay, so let's take a look and see how we did here. I'm not very happy with that one seam. I may have to take it out. That looks pretty good. The other one, not so good. We may have to take that one out and rip it. See how I'm a little off right there? So before I put it together, I'll do that. I'm not very happy with this one. See how I got it a little scooched. So I'll go back, and you can see I'm a little off at the top too. So we'll get that one fixed before I put it together. I would then take this to my iron, and I would iron open. It's better if you iron open the seam so that it's flat. See, I've already got this one done. Okay. And then to put this together, I take this on my table, and I'll just pull it off and lay it on under the foot here so you can kind of see. What I do is I lay my top down, face down like this, because we're going to be putting the wrong sides together, because we're going to put a binding on this. Hi, Judy. Then I'm going to put the first piece on like this, and I'm going to line up the raw edges, and then I would put the second piece on, and it's going to overlap about 3 or 4 inches. Like this. And you want it to overlap. See, it's overlapping down here about 3 or 4 inches, because that way when you go to put the pillow in, it's not going to gap open and show you the pillow inside. It's going to cover it all up. I'm going to then sew a 1/4 inch from the edge all the way around the pillow. So then I've got, again, the wrong sides are together. Then I'm going to prepare my binding just as I do any other binding, but I like to put it on with the sewing machine. So it depends on how you want to do it. If you like to hand stitch your binding down, you would then prepare your binding, put your binding on the pillow that has that 1/4 inch seam around the edge, put your binding on, and then flip it to the back and hand stitch it. I like to stitch mine down with the sewing machine when I do these little things because it's a little faster. And then Judy doesn't have to do it for me because I don't like to hand stitch. She always does them. Then she doesn't have to do it for me. So what I do, okay, and I do this in the videos, so if you need detailed instructions, go back and watch the videos from the other pillows. I put it on the back side instead of the front. So I sew my binding on the back and I flip it around to the front. And then I don't know if you can see it, I use quite matchy thread. I've learned if I use quite matchy thread, then I zigzag it along the front. And it looks quite nice. The corners look nice. Here's one of my corners. And it does not show hardly at all, but I've learned that you want to use quite matchy thread and just take your time and you use a teeny tiny little zigzag that's not very far apart, and it really works quite well, especially for stuff like this that is not, you know, if I'm doing a nice quilt, I'm definitely going to sew it on the front, flip it around to the back, and then have it hand stitched. I'll have it hand stitched because Judy's here and I can say that because she does my hand stitching for me. But if I'm doing like a baby quilt or these little small things or like a table runner or something like that, then it's just so much easier to do it on the sewing machine. So anyway, so if you need your detailed instructions about doing that, go back to either the Home of the Brave pillow or that one. I had done more in binding this way, so that one's the best one to watch for the binding, I think, and the assembly. And then the last thing I did was I took let me pull this back a bit. I took the little Google eyes, and I got these I got at Walmart, and then I just took my glue gun and glued them on. So there's my little Google eyes. So I used bigger ones on the spiders, and then I used these little teeny ones that I had for the little bat. So there's the pillow. Isn't that fun? These are so much fun to do. I'm really enjoying making these. So I hope you like them. I'm going to do one for Christmas too. And I'm going to finish this one and give it to my dad. My dad likes Halloween too, so I'm going to finish this up and take it up to him tomorrow. So I'll do that tonight, and I'll take it up to him tomorrow for Halloween. So okay, so like I said, the full instructions would be like on the Home of the Brave pillow. It'd be in the second video because we did that in 2 videos. So I think everybody can figure that out by watching that video doing the assembly. So is there any other questions? These are really cute. Thank you, Marianne. I've really enjoyed making them. They're fun, and they are easy, and they turn out really cute. And then you can just get one pillow. So for those of you that don't know, I get the pillow forms. They're 12 by 22, and I get them at Hobby Lobby. That's the best place, and then they have them on sale a lot. So that's the best one to get. And I haven't really found them other places. Joann's doesn't have that size, but this is just a perfect size for the 8 by 12 hoop. So works really well for those hoops. So, okay, is there any other questions? So thank you for sewing along with me tonight. Are there any other questions? Hopefully everybody else is getting their pillows done. I'm gonna finish mine tonight, and I think I'm gonna finish that little Christmas pillow or the little winter pillow too. So do that one tonight too. Any other questions? Oh, hi Teresa, I never saw you come in. There's so many people that have been coming and going, it's hard for me to see. So if anybody would like the design that didn't get the design yet, let me know. And then, and I know there's a few of you that don't like to do the PayPal invoices. So if you want to call me, just call me on my cell phone, and most of you have it. And I can just take your credit cards over the phone because some people don't like PayPal. So All right. And, oh yeah, Janan's one of them. I see that. I was, cool. Thanks, Karen. Judy, yours is done. Yes, it is, because Judy got the first one I made. So she didn't have to make her own pillow this time. And I didn't even have to ask you to sew them down for me, did I? Oh, you went with witch's brooms. So please, if you're making one of these, make sure that you post it on the group so we can see it, because it's amazing how the different fabric, you know, I have one thing in my mind, but when I see the other fabrics, it's like, oh, I wish I would have thought of that. So cool. Thanks, everybody. Okay, so make sure you post your designs. Oh my gosh, there's all these different comments. Cool. So if you, but yeah, make sure you put your designs up so I can see them on the group. I know everybody will enjoy it. So if anybody needs the design, let me know. And then we will not have class next week because I'll be up with Dad. And then we will have class on the 20th, and we'll do the table runner. So, and I'll show you how to, I did my quilting on my quilt too. So cool. All right, well, I'll see everybody in a couple of weeks. So I'm sorry for the delay, but you know, my dad has to have some help. So he's been, I feel bad for him because he has to have another procedure, but we're doing okay. He's doing fine. He's feeling fine, and he did fine on Wednesday because he had another procedure Wednesday. So he is doing fine, but you know, he is 92, so he needs to have me there sometimes. So that's where I'll be next Sunday. So. And he has no internet service. Otherwise, I probably would have tried to have class, but he doesn't have internet up there. So everybody have a nice evening, and I will see you in a couple of weeks. If you have any questions, you know, you can always personal message me through Facebook. So good night, everybody. Thank you for coming.